Fucking song, man. You know, you would think, like, I would stop complaining about the music being turned off eventually. Oh, my brother. Oh. Nope. What happened to the music again? An alarm going off? Well, well, it's a solemn day. I just been lying down in bed for most of the day. After I got home last night, I slid down and I put a book on. I fell asleep to it. Then I woke up this morning. I woke up around like 3 o'clock. Lights still on, headphones on. Not entirely wide awake, but awake enough. I stayed up for like another hour or so. Just kind of thinking and writing. I put on the new Sleep Token album. Just kind of exploring all the things that were coming up while I was listening to it. So I kind of continued doing that this morning. No, this wasn't really, I'm just not really. I don't really have much else to, I was gonna say, not like I don't have much else to do, but I don't know, I just kind of feel like I hate saying that I don't have anything to do, because I do, but there's this part of me that's like, something's missing. And the general consensus, like if I ask myself, well, what's missing? Well, I don't know. I do know. It's embarrassing. Counterpart. I miss having a counterpart. You said you had a lady friend. I do have a lady friend, but that doesn't mean I'm her gentleman friend. Not everybody sees the same thing as other people, you know. And to be perfectly honest, it's more like what? Well, it's more like we're like temporary band-aids for each other, even though I say temporary. Well, that was actually something that came up last night. Or this morning, however you want to go about it. But no, the piss and vinegar, I think I kind of burnt it all out, which is not a bad thing. They're familiar with the idea of filling your own cup. You also have to drain it out sometimes before you can refill it. So everything gets stagnant and sometimes I have to drain myself out before I can fill myself back up. And coming into a new moon cycle, coming into a new cycle like this, it's like there's still remnants from the old that are lingering that have to get purged out. I don't know, I think I'm kind of just, I'm in this transitional phase, I believe. Getting comfortable with my life the way that it is. And not being so much attached to what I want. This is a fucking pain in the ass. Sometimes I've heard people say, you gotta detach. How the fuck do you do that, man? You keep doing you. I don't know, I kind of want to sit down. I kind of had to force myself to even get up to do this. I feel like it's definitely possible the next 2 days are going to be fucking hell. Maybe not hell, but just like, ugh, I can barely even keep my shoulders up. Fuck it. Sometimes it's like just got to embrace the feeling like shit. I mean, at the same time, though, it's just been a lot going on inside of me that that's hard to put into words. I mean, I don't feel like this is a waste of time. I think this is probably one of the highest and best uses of my time, especially for right now. Just so impacted by everything that goes on around me that I have a hard time like shaking it off sometimes. It's tough being motivated all the time. Well, it's not possible to be motivated all the time. That's why usually when I feel this way, this happens. I mean, thinking back over the past 2 weeks, like I've been going hard. Most people be like, just keep going, keep pushing it. But there comes a point where you do have to take a break and just kind of reflect on, I go like, all right, well, what the hell have we actually accomplished? And I'm not gonna lie, like, just a brief just a brief replay of the past 2 weeks since I started doing this again, I'm very pleased. Because it's allowed that part of me that like, this part of me that usually gets suppressed. Well, it has no choice but to be suppressed because there's not really an outlet for it. I mean, I write. Writing's fun. I enjoy the fuck out of it. But I feel like I need to do something a little bit different. There was a time, I mean, it's still there. It's not like it was once there and now it's gone. It just went on the back burner for a little bit, which is just to start making art, some sort. Yeah, well, that actually makes sense. Maybe I should consider going back into music production. That might actually serve me pretty well. It's been a long time. And all the remnants of the music that I used to make are all gone, so I kind of have the benefit of not having to rely on the old to keep me going. Even though I can remember bits and pieces of it enough that it's not the worst idea to consider finding myself back into it. But I did make a promise to myself that if I were to get back into music production, which is what I really desire, then it would probably be wise to at least fulfill a promise of mine, which was to learn to understand music theory, to be able to read music, to be able to see it. Oh my God, I'm like all worn out from that walk, by the way. Ugh. You think it has anything to do with all the smoking? No, I don't. I think it's just, I don't know, hey, listen, I could be wrong, but I like to believe that I'm probably like the most active person that I know. So, after 2 weeks of fucking pushing myself to the limits that I've been pushing myself, or pushing myself past the limits I've been pushing myself, like, I mean, it's not easy to record myself fucking talking like this. Then there's the background stress of like, oh my God, what if somebody fucking watches this? So yeah, there's all of that there. But each one of those little stressors, they stack on top of each other until finally it's just not overwhelming, but it just feels like a really big weight on my shoulder. Like right now I'm feeling, you're not doing enough. I'm not doing enough. What the fuck else more should I be doing? But that voice, I feel like, I don't know if it's really directed at me. Not doing enough. What does that mean though? Like, how can I relate that to myself? Maybe it's saying I'm doing too much of one thing and not enough of another thing. I'm staying in my own comfort zone a little bit too much. I get that. I can see that. I've been relying on the same old tricks. But, and again, my mind's going back to music. The unfortunate thing is, like, I know that going down that road's not an easy thing, but then I look at for instance, Hebrew. I started this Hebrew class. I went once. Because of how fucking dreadful it was. Which is all the more reason to go back to it, because it is fucking dreadful, but it did help me. I'm not gonna say I didn't actually take anything away from that first lesson. It actually inspired me to like go deeper into what I already knew. Which, in my opinion, was more important than what was being taught. Because it's like, by taking the ideas being presented and then applying them to my own, I mean, it is a benefit. Man, I love the idea of producing again. I really do. But then that opens up a whole bunch of other that opens up a whole under the can of worms, because I'm thinking to myself, like, all the things I want to do, like these are specializations that require like deeper training than what I have. But at the same time, I mean, like, music is a different kind of magic. Sound engineering, these are things that interest me deeply, but how long is it going to take me to fucking learn? And I feel like Darth Sidious, right? Well, I feel like Darth Plagueis and Darth Sidious, because it's like, it's going to take as long as it takes. What do you want? I mean, you have the benefit of being incredibly intelligent, so it's not like it's gonna take too long. Plus, consider the prospect that you do have the added benefit of not allowing yourself to fall into certain traps that can be easy to fall into. And even if you fall into the trap, like, you're smart enough to get yourself out of it. You're not afraid to gnaw your own leg off. So maybe that's something. Maybe that is something that I need to start doing again. Get the theory down before diving all the way into it, or maybe even diving all the way into it and then even fucking learning at the same time. Because one of the nice things about music production is that there are rules. There's rules that you got to follow, but I love rules because rules are the doorways to breaking out of that limited thinking. I mean, I would be really interested in seeing what my mind is capable of when it comes to music production now, because I feel like I'm in a completely different space than what I was all those years ago. Yeah, I like that idea. Maybe it's a good idea to consider switching my focus and yeah, I like that. I think I'm so like just locked into my ways that it's hard to see how my new ways could enhance my old ways. I mean, something else I was really into doing You know, I did want to make a video game too. Like, I wanted to be one of those jerks that like make a video game by themselves. And then just even yesterday, there was a video on my feed about how to make a video game by yourself. There was this dude who made this game a long time ago. I fucking forget the name of it, but it was this cool like 2D scroller that was kind of modeled after something like. It had remnants of Silent Hill in there. But the guy, Jasper, was that his name? Jasper? But the guy, he fucking made the whole thing by himself from tits to toes. Like, it was actually really impressive. And he did it more than once. So it can be done, but it took him years to do. I mean, I have to learn program. Well, I mean, I did start this CS50 course from Harvard, which is like a free introduction to their, or like a, I mean, it's an optional free prerequisite course, just to give an idea of what Harvard offers in terms of computer software engineering. I mean, I took one of the lessons. It was pretty dope. I didn't finish the assignment, which was to use a website to craft a basic program. But the other day when I made this lunar cycle map out of fucking Facebook posts, that might actually be a cool what? Experiment. I do love the idea of programming, and I want to get back into that as well. I took some programming classes in college, but I think I took like 3. I never actually finished college. Well, no, I finished it all right. I finished it. I just finished it without a degree. I tried going back a couple years ago, but I don't know. It just didn't sit. Like, I have a hard time dealing with people like who think they know all the stuff. You don't know all the stuff. And I hate being told, no, you can't. You can't do that. Why? Why not? I once got told that you can't marry physics and metaphysics. Why? That's literally what metaphysics is all about, is taking 2 ideas that don't normally go together and making them into a new one. Sometimes one that's just waiting to be explored. That's not a bad idea, actually. I have been wanting to mix fucking technology with magic. So, I mean, it's not impossible. I mean, I have my own aspirations when it comes to that. Like, I don't know, I have this idea for this neural framework that's based off of universal consciousness, kind of like the same consciousness that operates behind astrology. I mean, if you dig into the occult conscious aspects of tarot cards, it kind of breaks it down pretty succinctly. But I don't know, I feel like it would just be a matter of being able to recode that in a different language. Yeah, binary, how to recode multidimensional thinking in 2-dimensional language. Well, I mean, that's not impossible. It's the concepts that matter. It's the concepts and principles that really matter. And if you can transform the metaphysical, the metaphysical concepts could be transformed into anything that you want them to be turned into, even fucking computer code. So it's not impossible to fucking come up with like some form of, and I know this is a grand idea, but AI consciousness that operates on its own, that kind of thinks for itself. See, like, that's the tough thing, is because you say something like that to people, like something that thinks for itself, and it's a little like out there because people are just, when you think about thinking for yourself, you're thinking about the human way of thinking, but you have to disassociate yourself with what it means to think for yourself. I mean, a fucking Mr. Fox from yesterday, he was thinking for himself, just not in a human way. And I feel like learning how to engineer programming languages into something, well, yeah, it's like, what are you trying to say with it? Because you look at what most software does, solves a problem of some sort, but what kind of problem are we solving? Yeah, demonstrating that consciousness and intelligence can exist outside of the human body. I mean, that's a problematic way of thinking. How to make an intelligent piece of software, a self-aware piece of software. That would be fucking dope. Self-awareness. Where does self-awareness come from? From being able to look within. I mean, I think it's a little bit more than I think, therefore I am. It's more like it requires a lot of experimentation. But I don't know, like I feel kind of nervous about that because I probably have about $1,000 left in my bank account. And it's like, all right, well, what the hell? Where the hell is the money going to come from? I have no idea. Unless I have to get another job again. But I feel like I don't have the fucking energy for that. Plus my patience. Well, what do you want to be more patient with, a job or with yourself? All right, fair enough. Maybe invest some of your money into like some actual courses that could benefit. I mean, I'm kind of upset about the Hebrew though. Like I really thought, like, what was the point? The point of it was to make you not afraid of spending money. Well, then why don't I just keep it? I don't know. Why don't you? Because it's scary. The idea of running out of money is scary to me. But why is that even still a thing? Because realistically, like you already should know that line of thinking doesn't work anymore. No, I know. Yeah, I get that. Well, how could we go about it? Well, you do have resources to learn music, and at the same time, you also have resources. You have that whole Udemy thing that it has been not getting put to use. Fair enough. There's a lot there that I have been ignoring. But do I really have the fucking time and energy for all that shit? You got the time and energy for this. You got time for this. And, I mean, this is a good break. This way you're not doing just one thing all day. Like, you have activities aplenty at this point. You know what I mean? Like this is a good outlet. It's a fucking great outlet. But also, think of what Jim Quick said. He's like, the best way to learn anything is to talk about it. So, I mean, at the very, very, very least, what you could do if you really felt so inclined to do so, and I kind of feel like this is kind of planting the seeds to make that happen, is to talk about what you're learning. Talk to yourself about it. How do you reinforce what you know about something? Talk about it. Find the problems behind it. Find where it's weak and re-solidify it. Add it to your own fucking tool belt. I mean, like, here's an idea. I'm just throwing this out there, but you already had the thought of merging fucking music theory and computer theory, programming theory. So it's not like you can't fucking come up with some cool way of fucking doing something. And what? How about this? Why don't you watch that video on fucking making a video game? Take some of the principles behind it and start thinking about how you could utilize that. The fucking there's that fucking masterclass on video game theory. Why don't you fucking just watch that too and see if you can extract any kind of valuable information from it? There are so many different possibilities that you can do that, like, look, okay, let's go back to fucking Gordon Ramsay, right? Gordon Ramsay, he's teaching how to cook. You said you didn't want to be a fucking chef, but you watched the goddamn thing anyway, and you got the idea that, one, you live with a bunch of kitchen witches. So now, also consider the fact that, what is cooking? What is baking and cooking all about? It's about taking different ingredients from multiple different sources and then combining them into one beautiful dish. So why can't you take that same idea and do it somewhere else? You know about some fucking wild, you've put together a religion. You literally rewrote the history of the fucking universe. You have a foundation to work from. You're not fucking just that guy from all them years ago that used to have only experience playing video games. Like, you're in a completely different place than you were back then. So why keep harboring that mindset of, I don't have the time to do this, I don't know about all this? No, you do know, and you do have the time. You have the fucking resources. Take advantage of what you have. And not to mention, why the fuck would you need to pay more people for fucking classes when realistically, I'm gonna tell you this right now, that you should be the one getting paid to be fucking talking. And why this isn't fucking paying? Well, I was actually thinking about that. I'm glad you brought that up, because I was thinking about that this morning. It was when I was listening to Darth Plagueis some more, and he was talking about how the Jedi kind of created this bubble of light side force that kind of encapsulates the galaxy to one degree or another. But people's faith in the light are waning, and I think that's kind of a good reflection of what's going on right now, is because a lot of people are out there pushing this mentality of what you should and shouldn't do based on the principles of the light side. But there's not anyone but me that's actually pushing the dark side. That's not true. But like anger, hate, rage, fear, it's a lot about running from those things, but why not embrace them? And to be perfectly honest, fuck everybody else. Who gives a fuck? It has nothing to do with like getting paid for this either. It'd be cool, but my thing is, like, there's better things to be doing. Not better things to be doing, different things to be doing. How do you incorporate, and listen, you could probably incorporate this into doing it too, but, oh shit, hold on, I'm not gonna make it. I'm not gonna make it.